Welcome to Season 4, Episode 1 of Tech Talk Thursday. MacDermid Alpha has recently announced the acquisition of H.K. Wentworth, which includes the Electrolube brand. Here to discuss the acquisition is Joe D'Ambrisi, the Executive Vice President and Head of Electronics at MacDermid Alpha, Electronic Solutions, and of course, Ron Jakeman, who's the Group Managing Director of H.K. Wentworth. So welcome, gentlemen. Nice to see you here today.
Good to see you, Trevor.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, okay. So let's start off, first of all, Joe, maybe you can tell me what attracted you to acquire H.K. Wentworth?
Certainly, be my pleasure. I think what was the primary reasons that we were attracted to H.K. Wentworth was the complementary nature of their business and of their business model. But like so many of our other acquisitions that we've done, what ultimately determines the outcome of these acquisition efforts is the people in the organization. We learn a lot about the employees of a company during the process of due diligence.
Yeah.
And it was quickly apparent that the employees of H.K. Wentworth know their industries, they know their markets well, and they're passionate about their customers' technology challenge. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if we just take a step back to talk about MacDermid Alpha Electronic Solutions, I think most of your listeners, your readers are probably familiar with our company. But for those that are not, we're a $1.2 billion US integrated electronics company. We serve primarily the semiconductor fabrication and packaging markets, the printed circuit board fabrication markets, and the printed circuit board assembly markets. And although I think most people think of us as a specialty chemicals and materials provider to the electronics industry, what we fundamentally are is a solutions provider. We provide solutions not only to the broader needs of the industries that we serve, but we provide solutions for the specific technology challenges that our customers face every day. And I think this is part of what attracted us to H.K. Wentworth as well, is that their approach is very similar. They consider themselves a solutions provider as well, where they search for opportunities where their customers have a specific technological or possibly economic or a quality or a productivity challenge, and they innovate solutions specific to those customers' challenges to improve their outcomes. Yeah. And so I think that's very similar in the nature of the way Element Solutions operates and believes. And it makes for a very complementary combination of companies.
At Nordson Asimtech, we provide more to our customers. It's not just about our leading-edge fluid dispensing and coating equipment. It's about custom solutions for your application. More means helping you select the right equipment and configuration, setting it up to ensure your success, and providing ongoing support.
Right. I mean, certainly MacDermid Alpha, you have grown through a number of acquisitions over recent years. But, you know, where are the crossovers here with H.K. Wentworth in the product lineup, and where do you see the opportunities?
So, as you mentioned, we've grown through a number of complementary acquisitions, either geographic in nature or product portfolio in nature, that have been very complementary to each other. Mm-hmm. And we believe H.K. Wentworth is just another one of those complementary pieces for us. The Electrolube brand, as you've mentioned, is very well recognized in the industry, very strong, and has some great strengths in things like conformal coatings, in encapsulating resins, in thermal interface materials, as an example. Right. And so the thermal management needs that we see in the industry today are just exploding, both in the conventional printed circuit board assembly markets and in the semiconductor packaging markets. Element Solutions and MacDermid Alpha Electronic Solutions has a small and evolving offering in thermal interface materials. And the thermal interface material offerings that H.K. Wentworth and the Electrolube brand brings to MacDermid Alpha is very complementary to what we have, and it'll be a great addition to the portfolio.
Right. And I imagine this would also help to strengthen your portfolio for the emerging EV market that's coming out as well.
That's absolutely right. It's one of those very quickly growing needs in the thermal management markets, is in the automotive and EV space.
Okay. So Ron, if I can ask you, I mean, what were your reasons for selling, essentially, or for agreeing to the acquisition?
As I mentioned earlier, we've been looking at, I've been talking to the Kingsley family about what we're going to do for probably the past 5 years. And we looked at all sort of options. But at the end of the day, they decided that they really wanted to sell the company. And so it was then a question of finding the best home for it, and allowing the brands to continue. And I think once Elements came into the frame via our advisors at Elantra, there was a lot of excitement because they haven't got our product range. They didn't have our product range. So that was obviously very favourable in terms of Electrolube going forward, and the size of Elements sort of they've actually will enable us to grow, because one of the problems was resources. We're only a relatively small British family company, so being linked into Elements with their size, their expertise, you know, they've got 4,000 plus people, technical specialists in all areas, and administration specialists as well. So it will allow Electrolube to shake off some of the shackles and to sort of flourish and grow. And that's why I was very pleased when the deal was concluded, really. I think it's a good home.
I think you're underselling yourself a little bit. I think you grew a fantastic company over the years, but you're both global suppliers. So Joe, where did you see the strengths in both organizations geographically?
Well, I think Ron touched on it very accurately. It's very clear that H.K. Wentworth has a tremendous business, a very technically capable portfolio of products that are of tremendous industry interest to the industries that we serve today. They're very complementary with respect to Element Solutions portfolios, but I think what we bring to H.K. Wentworth is an access to a global commercial organization that consists of sales and technical service professionals and applications experts that help our customers solve their most difficult challenges. And this, the global reach of our organization is probably unmatched by any of even the larger competitors that we deal with today. Mm-hmm. And we'll bring that great portfolio of H.K. Wentworth to our commercial organizations and let them loose on the industry. And we expect it to be incredibly beneficial to both of our organizations. I think the other thing we bring to the H.K. Wentworth organization is a scale and a scope of a $1.2 billion organization that simply isn't available to the smaller H.K. Wentworth organization. And this is true of all of the legacy organizations that we acquired. There's something about the scale and the scope of an organization that allows you to more efficiently combine some of the functions that support the business, such as accounting and finance and tax and treasury and human resources and information technology. Mm-hmm. And having access to the very mature and very large supporting organizations that we have allows the H.K. Wentworth folks to do what they do best, and that is to innovate and offer their solutions to a broader commercial market segment than they otherwise had access to.
Right. Yeah, I think the beauty of having a company behind you with these sorts of resources means you can also plan further into the future. You can take longer term R&D projects on and that sort of thing. So you touched on it earlier, Joe, about the culture mix. I mean, that's in any acquisition, that's really the big important piece of the puzzle. It's very important that you have similar cultures. What do you think your plans bring to both? What are your plans to bring both groups together?
Sure, I think we've been very fortunate in excuse me, some of the past acquisitions that we've made, is that they have been very closely culturally aligned. And I think H.K. Wentworth fits squarely into that category as well. Part of our culture is a culture of innovation. And it's very clear that that's important to the H.K. Wentworth company as well. And a big part of their success in the past has been around their innovation, and the results of those innovation efforts is apparent in the product portfolio that they possess today. And the other area that is important in our culture as well is one of the pillars of our strategy is around commercial excellence. As we discussed, it's when you are a much smaller organization, it's hard to have the global reach, an extensive global reach that a much larger organization can bring. And I think it's very clear that commercial excellence is part of the culture of the two organizations.
Right. Okay. So Ron, if I can turn to you for a minute, the H.K. Wentworth, of course, represents Harco soldering tools in the UK and Ireland and other parts of the world. Is that relationship going to continue?
Yes, it is. Yeah, we obviously discussed it with H.K, and they're happy to continue. Yeah, we're very happy to continue with them. It's Australia, New Zealand is where we're the main importer. I mean, it's a very good business. It's in terms of our sales, and also it leads into other things as well. When we're on soldering stations, there's often the opportunity to sell something else. So it's a good network. Yeah.
Good, excellent. So, and of course, my final question, of course, Ron, is: are you planning to stay with the company for a while?
Yeah, they've asked me to stop, and I'm happy to. As I say, I'd like it to sort of be in good hands, which it is, and whatever I can do to help there, I will do. Yeah.
Great. Well, gentlemen, I think it sounds like a great marriage. So I wish you both the best of luck with your ongoing work. You've got a lot of work ahead of you, but it's a great opportunity, and I want to thank you for coming in and sharing it with us here today.
How low can you go?
Low temperature solders enables manufacturers to lower reflow profiles, improve quality, and reduce operating costs. Learn about the latest materials and processes, network with your peers, and improve your knowledge around this important topic. LTS 2021 on June 16th comprises 14 sessions, a keynote by Tadashi Kasuga from Lenovo, and an optional workshop on day 2 by Bob Willis. Register today.